Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be once more talking about those tropics. We currently have two new tropical storms in the Atlantic. They're not going to impact the United States, however. And then we have two more disturbances behind them. Now, before I get started with this video, though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. Now, I'd also ask that you check out our very exciting Patreon page in the description and the pinned comment down below. That's also where you can find our Discord server and Facebook group. Alright, now for today's comment of the day, I have another off-topic one for you guys. Who is the best film director of all time? Yesterday I asked you the best actor, today I'm asking you the best director. Now let's get into this video, and as you can see, we're taking a look at that 2-day graphical tropical weather outlook, and as you can see, we have Tropical Storm Nana down there for the Central America region. They're just offshore of Central America and the Southern Caribbean, and then we also have Omar up there offshore of the East Coast. Omar's not looking too good. We'll show you that on satellite. And then we have two more disturbances, like I said. Within the next 2 days, we have 20% chance on that more western one, and then 10% chance on that one that's just offshore of Africa at this point. So let's go ahead and move on, and here is the 5-day graphical tropical weather outlook for the one offshore of Africa, and as you can see, over the next 5 days, it has a 60% chance, and then our next one has a 30% chance over the next 5 days. So that one offshore of Africa has a much better chance than the one that's more west of it. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to move on and we're going to take a look at both of our tropical storms on satellite, spaghetti models, intensity guidance, and then we're going to move on and start talking about the overall tropics on the GFS model and how it's struggled mightily lately. Now, I don't mean to just call out the GFS there. It's pretty much been all of the global models, so I don't want to act like it's just the GFS. None of the models had these tropical storms developing, and they did. And that's kind of been the trend this year, just underestimating a lot of these situations, sometimes overestimating, but most of the time it's been kind of an underestimating type situation. And here we are with two tropical storms, starting out here with Tropical Storm Nana. And honestly, Nana's looking okay, but the time is very limited. It's going to hit the Yucatan Peninsula, bring pretty minor to moderate impacts there. You can expect some gusty winds and some rainfall, but really not much else than that. The National Hurricane Center has this one becoming a hurricane. I'm quite doubtful, but I do see it as a possibility. However, once we look at the intensity guidance in a moment, you're going to see what I'm talking about. First off, here's the National Hurricane Center's forecast for Tropical Storm Nana. As you can see, it's going to hit regions there in Central America and pretty much taper off into a tropical depression and then eventually a post-tropical depression there. Here's that intensity guidance, and as you can see, it might intensify a little bit into a stronger tropical storm a little bit, but I mean, at this point, I really am not seeing a hurricane out of this one. I do see it as a possibility, like I said, maybe a 20% chance, but really, it has such a limited amount of time, and it's already so close to land, and the models really just don't see it happening, and I'm in quite good agreement with that, actually, as of right now. But now what we're going to do is we're going to move on, and we're going to take an overall look at Tropical Storm Omar. Now, this frame right here is actually a really good visualization of shear and what it can do to a tropical storm. If you look at the very, very middle, you might be able to see a little bit of a swirl there in those very light grays. It's kind of hard to see, but that's actually where the center of low pressure is for this one. And you can see those tall clouds are all to the southeast of it, and there's no tall clouds above that rotation. That's because shear has eaten this one alive, and when I say shear will take the top off of a storm, that is exactly what I mean by that. That's what we're seeing here, and it really just has taken a toll on Tropical Storm Omar. Now, let's take a look at the National Hurricane Center and what they have to say for Tropical Storm Omar. It's going to remain a tropical storm maybe through 2 a.m. on about Thursday, and then a depression, and then a post-tropical depression, really just fizzling out and not interacting with any land, which is very good news, obviously, to say the least. Alright, now here's the intensity guidance for Tropical Storm Omar, and as you can see, we're just hardly a tropical storm. It's very impressive that it is somehow still a tropical storm. I doubt it actually is, but in the next 24 hours, we're going to see it weaken likely below tropical storm status, maybe trying to regain intensity. Some of those models have it doing, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think Omar has seen his best days, and I think Omar's pretty much done here, to say the least. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to move on and we're going to take a look at the GFS model as a whole. We're actually going to take a look at a frame from yesterday morning's model run and just show you where it did not have Omar or Nana developing at all. And then we're going to take a look at what it has for those Africa disturbances. Not that I actually expect it to be right, but we're just going to take a look at what it has to say. And then we're going to take an overall look at that rising and sinking air motion again, because there is some updates in that we need to give you guys. All right, now here we are taking a look at that GFS model again from it was the 0Z run yesterday. And as you can see, this is the forecast for this morning at 6 a.m., which is the time I'm making this audio. As you can see, we have a low pressure there offshore of Central America, but really a 1009 millibar low pressure system, not a tropical storm, a little bit of a disturbance, but not a tropical storm. Same story with Omar up there offshore of the East Coast, non-existent. If anything, we have more organized systems there offshore of Africa, which is not the case at this moment in time. So this was completely wrong from what actually happened, because as I move on, here is the model run from this morning for 12Z this morning, which means maybe about 6 or 7 a.m. Well, actually more like 8 or 9 a.m. actually, so a little bit later. But as you can see, we have two low pressure systems, Omar and Nana, that are around 1,000 millibars, and we also have those disturbances offshore of Africa. So this model highly underestimated both of these systems, and so did every other model. It's not just a hating on the GFS thing. It is every single model was doing this. I mean, obviously there's probably some models that did have them developing, but most of our major global models did not have what's occurring to occur. All right, now let's move on and take a look at about 2 p.m. on Sunday, September 6th. So we're just going to move way on. And here's our African disturbances. As you can see, eventually we have some pretty organized areas of storminess there offshore of Africa. With the way the high pressure systems are set up, I think these could potentially eventually pose a threat to the eastern United States. And I know it's very early to say, but just where those high pressure systems are, it's just going to open up that possibility for a Florence type track. Actually, it's kind of what I'm eyeballing, because they could go pretty far north because the high pressure systems are very far north, but still generally head westward towards the eastern United States, or they could curve very far offshore. There's many possibilities. But as we move on from Sunday towards Wednesday, 2 p.m., we have 3 tropical storms like back to back to back. And I think these are actually the disturbances that we're seeing right now. So very interesting to see this much disturbances, and very interesting. It would be very unusual to see this many tropical systems that close together. I don't think this is going to happen this way, but very interesting to say the least to see this model even calling for a solution like this. So we're going to want to be on the lookout, because these models that have been really underestimating systems is showing 3 systems, and actually that middle one looks quite intense. 993, that's a pretty strong tropical storm there, and they're generally heading towards the Caribbean at this point. With the high pressure system set up the way they are, this could threat anywhere from the Gulf to Maine. So really, we're not going to have any idea what these ones are going to do. I could see the spaghetti models being very spread out on these ones, so just be aware of that. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on. We're going to take a look at the sinking and rising air and just talk about what's upcoming in the tropics. All right, now here we are taking a look at, first off, on our GEFS model, which is the GFS Ensemble model. This is for September 9th, and as you can see, overall, like I showed in my last Tropics video, sinking air throughout the Atlantic. To be expected, this is what we've been expecting, so this isn't a surprise. Now, what is a surprise is that by September 13th, it kind of diverts back to neutral. We do see some greens and some pinks there, but it seems to be lower confidence than it was before. It seems to be saying, look, it could go either way, which is definitely the opposite of what it was showing maybe a few days ago. So the models have really opened up to the possibility of us going back to a rising air motion just in time for the peak of hurricane season. What would this mean? Very bad things. This is kind of the pattern we were in throughout a lot of August. So this would mean more tropical systems, more potential for stronger tropical systems, not guaranteed, but more potential for tropical systems. And to say the least, that's just really bad news there. All right, now stay tuned. We're going to have many more tropical updates coming up over the next month. I'm sure of it. All right, now for today's comment of the day, I asked you guys yesterday, like I said, who is the best actor of all time? And Juan Paulo said, hands down DiCaprio. Now, I don't think DiCaprio is the best actor of all time, but right now he is my favorite actor with new stuff coming out. And I wanted to tell you guys about a movie that you might not know about. Some of us film geeks really pay attention to the upcoming movies, but in 2022, there is a movie called Roosevelt coming out by Martin Scorsese that features Leonardo DiCaprio playing Theodore Roosevelt in a biographical drama about President Theodore Roosevelt. Now, that's exciting for anybody that loves history and movies. I think that's going to be a great movie, so look back to this in 2022. I'm calling it. That's going to be a really good movie. Anyway, for today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, especially our diamond patrons Mad Birds and Mark J, alongside our platinum patron Donna Carnes. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends, family, and social media. I will see you guys in the next video.